Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. This is Naya Dolgens, and on today's tutorial I'm going to be putting you through on how to do this latest trending surface coding, right? How to achieve this. And okay, it's actually my first attempt to it because we saw recently on your very popular designer's wedding dress, which is one of my favorite dress of her, how she was able to achieve that, and adding beadings and as well as cup chain. I added beadings as well as cup chain to create this. Not it's just like I'm doing a dry work, okay, without wasting much of your time. Guys, let's go into the details of it so you get the whole point of it. So these are the materials I'll be using for this: my invisible thread, my needle, and I'm using a doll face bridal satin for this. In her, she made use of ashoke from what it was shown. Yeah, she made it of ashoke and she made it of beads. I'm going to be making use of beads and cup chain as well, in case you want to, style yours in different ways, just so you know that you're not limited. Now this is what the cord should look like, okay? I'm going to show you guys how to achieve that. For my bridal satin, I'm making use of a width of 2 inches. All right, I'm going to you're also going to make use of your lighter, and this is going to be where I'm going to be making this pattern, or this practical, or this is not a project because I'm just trying to try it out how I'm going to achieve it. So I'm going to be stitching it just a little. It's not going to be up to half an inch, a quarter of an inch. So this is it where I've actually stitched it, and I think this is a bit big, but you can make yours a little smaller. As you can see, because this bridal satin is pulling off and all that, and I'm going to go in with my lighter to just interlock this place so that it doesn't start shading out. Okay, I think best way to do this, to achieve a much volume on this, you could actually interface your bridal satin, which I did not, but later on it came to my mind that I could actually interface it so that it's going to be full. The whole purpose is just so that it's going to have volume and strength, like the cording is going to have volume and strength. If it's possible for you to fill it in with fiber or whatever the case might be, just for it to have volume, then you should. Now, just to turn this out, I'm going to be using this ribbon pin, I think that's what it's called, to just pass the whole fabric out like so. Now this will take a while because the hole or the channels we have made are pretty small, and we are not trimming out the excess. Guys, I did not trim out my excess, so you will not be trimming out your excess. Remember, we're trying to fill in the space, the channel, so that it's going to be fluffy and thick. And if you have means of adding something to fill it in, then you might actually need to trim it out, maybe wires, or you want to put in fiber just so that it's going to be fluffy, then so that it's going to be cord like, right? Cord, C-O-R-D. You get, it's going to be filled up, the whole channel is going to be filled up, then you should do so. Another thing, second thing you should have in mind is that you are not supposed to, or you should not iron it. Do not iron it, guys. That is not going to give you your desired form. Okay, now this is what it's looking like. So I've gotten 3 or 2 of it. Look at how fluffy it's looking like. Okay, it's bouncing because the holes are being filled, though it's not filled enough, do you get? But it's good. You could have, I had a bit of desired texture or fluffiness, if that's a term. Okay, so now this is what it is. Now I'm just going to go in with my tambourine to just create a design. I later went out from this ring because it was actually obstructing me from having a perfect tacking process. Okay, so I didn't even know what design I wanted to do, but since I just wanted to get the whole idea how it's going to look like, how, if I'm going to be able to achieve what she did on her dress, so I'm just going to be doing a design. And my design is quite spacious, so if you want to create a design with this cording, you should not make it too spacious. Once it's packed together, the beauty is going to come out. So now this design I drew out, which is not so beautiful, but then forget the design and look at the information or the detail that I'm going to be showing you guys in. So now what you should know, that one thing I always emphasize on is about always giving neat finishing and all that, and always making sure that your your thread, you're notching your thread in front of the fabric, not the inside of it. Why? Because if you will agree with me that an invisible thread is more like a fish line, which is very tiny. So if it's inside the dress or underneath the dress, the back of the dress or the fabric is going to give you some discomfort. So now here I'm actually securing my thread. I cannot overemphasize on securing your thread first before you start any beading process, tacking process, embellishing process, whatever the case might be. Now, so to stack this to your fabric, the lines, your seam allowance, not seam allowance, your seam lines, like where you know, once you turn it out, your cord out, the fabric out to get your cord, that's line that shows the stitch of the fabric. I hope I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm using the right term. Like the line that is going to show your sewing process and all that, you want to put that to be on the surface of your fabric, as in so that it doesn't show. It's just only the fluffy part of the fabric that will be showing. The seam allowance or the seam lines won't be showing. That is what you're going to be using to tack the whole fabric, the cords to your fabric. Okay, so yeah, I'm just pinning it together just to follow the design. Okay, and yes, I'm using my pin to tack it, or to pin it, not tack it. I haven't tacked it yet. Okay, yeah, so I'm pinning it. Then I'm going to secure this cord first and foremost to the fabric. Yeah, I'm pinning this outside. You're going to secure it first and foremost to the fabric. Okay, just like you secure your threads to the mesh, you're also going to be securing your cords to your mesh, like so, like what I'm doing now. Like I said, I had to remove it from this frame because it was giving me a bit discomfort and all. So once you've secured your cord to your mesh or fabric, whatever you're using as the underneath of your cording process, once you've secured that, then you can start your tacking process. Now, to do this tacking, you want to, because I'm using a mesh, or if you're using a mesh, you definitely do not want your thread to be showing on the net, the mesh, that much. Like I always say, I just want you to achieve neat finishing as much as possible as you can. So now, okay, yeah, I was actually removing the whole rings to it. It was actually discomforting. I wasn't being fast enough with the process, so I had to disconnect it or remove it from the frame. So now, moving ahead, what you will want to do to secure or to have a good finishing, you will want to be passing your thread inside the cording. Like once you've secured it to your fabric, like so, you're passing your thread, your needle inside the cording, passing through the seam allowance, seam lines. Okay, I've sewn in a particular place because the earlier place I was videoing, I was recording, it wasn't really showing. My hands were off the camera, so I'm going to be showing you guys details and every other thing. So you're passing your needle inside the cords. You're passing your needle inside the cords, like you can see me do. Once you pass it inside the cord, you're bringing it out. Then you're going to secure it again to the mesh so that it's firm to the mesh, like I'm doing. So you're securing it to the mesh, then you're going to pass it again back inside the cord to a certain length. Then once you bring it out, you secure it to your fabric. Okay, so now this is the design I've gotten so far. I hope you understood what I was trying to say over there. This is the design I've gotten so far. Now I'm going to be showing you guys how to introduce your your cup chains to this whole process. Now you need to secure your thread again because we're starting another process. We are done with the cording, so just to embellish this whole cording, it doesn't look so ordinary. And just like our designer did, she used beads to hers. So I'm going to be using cup chains just to show you that you're not limited to just beads. You can also go as much as adding your cup chains, your claw stones, whatever ornaments you want to use to, secure your whole process. Now my cup chains, for me to secure my cup chains, I've already secured my thread, which is the first process for each beading process. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, what am I saying? Like, you saw that I actually secure the thread when I want to start this applying my cup chain to it. That is different from securing my thread to it when I was applying the cording. Okay, so now the channels that are being made in the cup chain, like those holes, that is where you're going to be passing your needle through. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to be crossing the thread across your what they call it, your cup chain to the fabric, like you're seeing me do now. Once you do that, you tack it. And you know, these cup chains and invisible thread, they are not best friends at all. They are totally not best friends, so you should be very careful with that, so that it doesn't, you know, tangles your thread. And another thing with working with invisible thread, try as much as possible not to strain the thread, like not to pull it, because if you pull it, it's going to start coiling, and once it starts coiling, bet you'll be so uncomfortable, your whole process will be frustrating. So yeah, I just brought it off front because I saw that it wasn't really visible from the angle I was recording it from. So this is how you secure the cup chain to it. Like you can see me do, I'm just passing my invisible thread through those channels that is connecting each of those stones to each other. That is where I'm going to be securing it to. And as well, just as I did for the cording, I'm going to be passing my needle inside the cording as well, so that my invisible thread will not be showing. So peradventure you're using a normal thread, color thread, or whatever the case might be, this will also help you so that the thread is not showing on the surface. The basic idea is to achieve neat finishing and so on and so forth. So I'm going to, like I told you, they are not best friends. Look at, they are both fighting there. So once you're done with that, just to keep your cup chains in place, then you're passing your needle inside of it like so. You just tack it, and that is it. So guys, so you've watched this point, ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that you have subscribed and you like this video, because I know you have found one or two things that that is helpful on how to achieve this. So something about ideas, people listen to people's idea, is that you incorporate it with your own ideas and you're going to achieve a much better work with it. So I know you've learned one or two things up to this stage. If you have not subscribed, if you're new, you are wrong. And if you're not liking this video after this whole process, sharing this idea and all, you are totally wrong. These likes are what are encouraging me to produce, to create more videos and tutorials. So please like and comment if you have any additional thing you think I should have added. Please, I also want to get your own opinion about this cording and all. So that is the cup chain that I've placed in. So I'm going to introduce my beads. So I use these seed like sand beads that I can't really tell what beads these are. They are seed beads, but they have sharp end. They're seed beads, but very tiny ones. So now you can see here, my needle the beads could not pass through this needle because this was a size 12 needle. So I had to go in for my size 11 video, this size 11 needle. Now these are the difference. The size 11, the head span is quite small, like you can see, small than the size 12, and the size 11 is a bit flexible, tiny. Because it's very tiny, you can easily bend it a bit, but not your size 12 beading needle. So now I went in here to fill in the beads in the thread. Okay, now this is what I noticed when I was doing this. I think this is something I wanted to share. I would have omitted it, but I just wanted you guys to see the difference. Okay, when I started introducing my beads to this whole pattern, I was not securing it to the cord like you see me do. Now I'm doing a running stitch, so in case you do not know, and if you have not seen my previous videos on basic beading patterns, please do check. I'm going to be dropping a link on the comment or the description part of it. Okay, so now I'm using a running stitch for this process. So a running stitch is whereby you're going to fill in a particular amount of beads, then you take your beads or your needle back a bit like so. This is the length I've added for the bead. Then I'm taking my needle back like so, then I'm going to pass the needle to the closest bead. taking it back to the front. Now this is the closest it is to the front. Then I will start introducing another beads. With this, there is not going to be any space in between them. Okay, so now this is what is looking. So when I did to this extent, I saw that the space, it was not how will I even put it, it's not joining to the cording. Like the space is too much, so I thought of about tacking it just like I did for the cup chain to the cords, like so. So now with this pattern, or in this way, it's not going to have a separate line from the cording. So like I secured the thread. I was just making sure that it was secured in a very way, taking the needle back to the other bead so that I can start the whole process. Is going to be a continuous one. Yes, so I introduced my beads. Now in this one, I'm going to be securing it or attaching it to the cording so that there's no space in between the beads and the cording. So now I'm still going to use a running stitch. I've done it to a desired place, and I'm going to take the needle backwards. Now this is how I'm going to be tacking it to the cording. Is when I've taken the needle backwards, that is when I'm going to tack it to the cords. You see. So once I do that, I'm going to secure it into the, like so. You see what I'm doing right here? I'm just trying to stretch it out. Then I'm going to now pass. You see, now this is the thread. I brought it out, the needle backwards from the cording, then attach it to the cording. Then I'm now bringing the thread out to the last part of the needle, the last needle. You see, this is space here, but here there's no space. Then I'm going to fill in more beads and continue it. Did you get what I did right there? If you did not, just slow down and you're going to get the whole point. Now fill in another needle, another beads. So this is what it is. I'm not taking, did you see what I did? I'm taking my needle backwards, then I'm going to tack it to the cords, like so. Did you see? I'm going to tack it to the cords, a bit, tiny bit of it, just tiny bits of it, like so. Then I'm going to be passing it to the beads to bring it forward and continue the process. You see where my invisible thread is meeting to the beads, that is where I'm going to be taking it, so that it's not going to be too adjacent to each other. Then I'm going to drag it forward. Now did you see that? So this is what is looking like. This is the first pattern I did, and this is this other part. They are all looking effective, right? Yes, but the whole point of this, I had to stop here because I think I've achieved a lot, and I think I understand how I'm going to be doing. Now I'm just showing you guys the back of it, how it's looking neat and not altered. And do you get my whole point? So I went ahead to reduce the lighting of this so that the reflection of the stones won't be entering in your eyes. So guys, this is what it looks like, and I believe you've gotten one or two knowledge from this whole beading process or tutorial process. Please like, share, and practice make perfect. I believe if I should run a second attempt on this, I will definitely get a better one. And also guys, please do not forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment, and remain super blessed until my next video. Bye for now.